almost a year before, but it was not until July 4th, 1776, that the colonies declared their independence of Great Britain and gave their reasons for doing so. What we celebrated on July 4th, 1976, was the 200th anniversary of the promulgation of the Declaration of Independence. It was a bicentennial indeed, but not of the United States of America, a single sovereign nation, a federal republic. The closing paragraph of the Declaration of Independence opens with these words: "We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled." The representatives assembled in the Continental Congress at Philadelphia did not represent a single nation, which could then be designated by the proper name, the United States of America. They represented 13 sovereign states. United they were in their resolution to fight together for their independence, but they were united in no other way. 7 years later, in 1783, the 13 colonies, now emerging from a military victory as independent sovereign states, entered into an agreement or contract with one another to remain loosely united in peace as they had been in war. The army that had successfully fought that war was called the Continental Army, not the Army of the United States. The loose union into which they entered for peaceful relationships was expounded in the Articles of Confederation. The subheading of this document reveals that these articles did not form or constitute a single sovereign nation, for it reads, "Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union between the States," after which follows an enumeration of the names of the 13 colonies in an order dictated by their geographical location from north to south. In 1787, after the loose union formed by these 13 sovereign states gave signs of ceasing to be perpetual, representatives of each state met once again in Philadelphia to form a more perfect union, one that had more likelihood of becoming perpetual, and also of preserving peace on this continent. The document framing and formulating that more perfect union was entitled The Constitution of the United States of America. It was properly called a constitution, for it did two things that a constitution should do. In the first place, it did constitute a single sovereign state, unlike the Articles of Confederation, and also unlike the Charter of the United Nations, which did no more than establish an alliance of a number of independent states, each of which remained sovereign in relation to all the others, as sovereign as each was before it agreed to become a member of the Confederacy. In the second place, it did what the Articles of Confederation, or the Charter of the United Nations, could not do. It established a government, outlined its purposes, limited its scope, indicated the several branches of that government, and defined the offices of each branch, saying how they shall be filled, and how the authority and power vested in each shall be related to one another. When we today use the words United States of America, we are referring to the nation that is one of the many sovereign states that comprise the United Nations. But when in 1776 the Declaration of Independence, in its concluding paragraph, introduced those who signed the Declaration by referring to them as the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, those same words, United States of America, had a different meaning. The 13 colonies of Great Britain on the North American continent were united in their determination to be independent of British rule. If they won their war for independence, they wished to establish themselves as 13 sovereign states. As they were cooperatively engaged in that war under the auspices of their Continental Congress, they could properly refer to themselves as the United States of America, but not as the United States of America in the sense in which we now understand those words. How, then, shall we interpret the opening lines of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address? 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. What came into existence in 1776 was certainly not a new nation. That is, a new national state comparable to Great Britain, France, or Spain. What came into existence then was a new people who, through the Declaration, sought to justify in the